Greetings. It is I, Laneay London of Laneay London Illuminating Minds LLC, and I'm here with the incomparable Nashawn Mitchell, soul of the community. We are checking in right now, but we're going to listen to a little Lucci ballad. So we're still listening. We're going to hang out.
Vibe a little.
A little.
Happy Black History Month, y'all.
Yes, yes. So if you're joining us, hopefully you're joining us on splasher.com.
Yes.
You may also be joining us on YouTube. Let's see where y'all are at.
Black History, huh?
Hey.
For the Blackout Day.
Blackout Day.
Yes, absolutely.
We're blacking out, y'all. We're blacking out Black women, Black social media platforms.
Yes.
I see us live on Splasher. I see us live on YouTube. So excited for this Black History Tale. Oh my gosh. So dope. So this piece is from Philip Hillary of Affiliated Productions. It's an original piece that he's given me the honor of being able to play in some of my presentations. So shout out to Phil, Highland High School, Bulldogs. Let's go.
661.
Right? 661. If you don't know, you don't know. Oh gosh, yes. So dope. So hopefully everybody has had a wonderful day of blacking out. Some of us took off from work. Some of us still went to work or didn't buy anything that wasn't Black owned. Some of us went ahead and did all of the above. And some of us didn't. So we're going to talk a little bit about those things and kind of why that happened to us, and not really belabor the point, but like really just like how do we move past that? So we're going to get into it. Thank you so much. Big Phil, you are here at Black History Tales, hosted by Soul of the Community. The one and only Nashawn Mitchell is going to tell us all about Soul of the Community and Black History Tales. We're going to have you take it away, ma'am.
Peace, and gratitude to everyone who is tuning in for Black History Month. It's like the 28th, so we're ending it with a bang. And I just really want to thank Miss Laneay London for being a part of Black History Tales. Again, my name is Nashawn Mitchell. I am the founder and president of Soleil of the Community. It was founded in bark of losing my daughter, unfortunately. And I wanted to pay homage and respect to single parents and help in the space of advocacy and support and education and outreach. So this is our third year actually doing Black History Tales, so I'm excited about it. And we have a good story to talk about because, you know, it's Blackout Day. And we Black History Month right now. And we're going to dive into a journey about Marcus Garvey and his beautiful wife, Miss Amy, and how they wanted to empower Black community and what generational wealth looked like, and how we can actually instill these principles and these core principles in our own personal lives today because they're still relevant. So I'm so thankful and honored to have Miss Laneay here. She's going to dive in and let's get educated, have an open heart, open mind, and let's get educated and just speak about truth. Peace. Turn
Ashe,
it back.
Ashe. Thank you, Nishan. Thank you for having me. Like we were just having a conversation about just stuff. We reconnected at an event. Shout out to If My People event in Lancaster a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to Pastor Brian and the crew, Black and Gold, Mazan. Oh my gosh, just all of our peoples, right? So we were at an event, reconnected, started having conversations about us, right? So most of you all know I am an MSW and former therapist, now mental health educator. And one of the key pieces of research that I've just launched recently is around chromatophobia, the fear of money. And so I gave a presentation, a little bit about that in the If My People presentation, and Sean was like, look sis, we need to get back on this, we got to get together. And we started talking about Black History Tales, and she does it every year, and there's a featured speaker and a featured ancestor, and we do the thing. So she was like, I'm not doing that this year. I was like, girl, let me tell y'all about what I did with the Garvey family a couple of years ago. We got to talk about that. So some of you all may know, again, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, I was on the book tour for the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey, uh, 21st Century edition that his son re-released. Dr. Julius Garvey. Most people don't know that it was Amy Jacques Garvey that actually wrote the book. It was a compilation of her husband's work, and while he was imprisoned, she wrote the book. So this is her son's revision for the 21st century. If y'all are familiar with the original version, you know it's about 3 times as thick. It's a bit thicker than this, and so it's all of his work. So this is a really good read. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from it a little later, but really good read. I recommend that everybody pick up a copy and start to pass down the knowledge and the information that we inherited from the Garveys. And so I'm going to jump into my PowerPoint. It says, I don't know why that is. Let's see what's going on. There's something going on the streaming side. Give me 1 second. I'm not sure why. Huh. They're saying that it's disabled. It was going just fine a couple of minutes ago. Hold on a second. Huh. Give me 1 second, y'all. We're having some technical difficulties with YouTube. Looks like.
You know, that's how life is. Technical difficulties.
Like, right?
And it's okay.
Yeah. So not sure why it's not showing up on YouTube as live right now. It was actually no. No, it is. No, it's coming up. No, it's live on YouTube. Um I something's happening on the Splasher side, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the presentation. So this is remembering financial legacy. Now, we hear a lot about financial literacy, but I want to talk about financial legacy tonight. I believe that we are a little bit behind the curve of learning about how our ancestors made things happen. And I think that we are at a desperate time where we really need to like analyze those things, right? If you've ever heard of Dr. Claude Anderson, he's and Dr. Boyce Watkins and EYL, all of those movements that talk about financial literacy, we really need to reconnect to that history and those movements so we can understand what's happening in our community. Would you agree? I agree. I'm just saying. So, this is what we need to know about Amy Jacques Garvey and Marcus Messiah Garvey. I want to give thanks to the partners making Black history, Soleil of the Community, as well as Splasher. If you're on the Splasher app, if you're watching on Splasher, you're going to see us go live on Splasher. So that's dope. If there's any issues with that, just hop on over to YouTube. And then I want to give honor to Friends of the Movement Global. You'll hear a little bit more about them later in the presentation. And here we go. So, ancestral mathematics. Do you know how many people that needed to be born in order for you to be born? I'll tell you. It took 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great grandparents, 16 second great grandparents, 32 great grandparents, third great grandparents, 64 fourth great grandparents, 128 fifth great grandparents, 256 sixth great grandparents, 512 seventh great grandparents, 1,024 eighth great grandparents, 2,048 ninth great grandparents, for you to be born today from 12 generations previous to now, it would take 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years for you to be born. Isn't that wild? Like, we really start to think about that our existence isn't just now. It started a long time ago. And it definitely started more than 400 years ago when we landed on this rock we call America. So, when next time you feel like you're alone, next time you think that you're not enough, think about the 4,094 that got you here. And what we say in epigenetics is the ancestors live in your blood, right? So think about it. So the financial legacy of Marcus and Amy Jacques Garvey. One of the things I want to point out about pictures of them, they didn't take pictures together. It's very rare that you see them together in a picture. You see like him and her and put together in a picture because they were about the work, right? They were the lovey-dovey part didn't necessarily come out in pictures, so they're about the work. So this was the picture that I created, put together of them in their time. Another fun fact we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. We're gonna watch. So this is a video I had the pleasure of helping with editing and putting together. And while we were on the tour with Dr. Garvey along the West Coast tour when he was in California, we actually premiered this 7-minute short. Everybody say 7 minutes, 7 minutes short on Marcus Messiah Garvey. And Dr. Julius Garvey, his youngest son, said it's the best thing ever done on his father. And that's over 102 years ago. So for us to be a part of this, I was very honored to join the African American Legacy Network and putting this film together. So watch the credits.
The year was 1916, when a 29-year-old Jamaican-born man with a love for Africa, pride in African people, and a vision of Pan-African unity, love, and strength, arrived on America's eastern shores, armed with an impenetrable sense of purpose, duty, and destiny. Just 54 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, 51 years after the end of the Civil War, with the vast majority of blacks in America still mentally enslaved, experiencing widespread race-based discrimination, terrorism, and despair, black codes, Jim Crow, peonage, and lynchings, and economic collapse in a world at war. 90% of the African continent colonized by 7 European nations, and Africans throughout the diaspora, systemically oppressed, with few signs of better days ahead. In spite of these things and more, less than 1 decade after his arrival to America, he was leading the largest black movement in the history of the world. His name, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. His organization, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which he and his first wife, Amy Ashwood, previously launched in Jamaica in 1914. Though the ideology of Pan-Africanism was slowly taking hold amongst some during this era, it was Marcus Garvey's vision of a strong, self-sufficient global black nation, along with his scholarship, total commitment, and organizing prowess that was pivotal in taking Pan-Africanism from theory to practice. From May of 1917, when the New York branch of the UNIA was launched, the first branch on American soil, through June of 1923, the accomplishments of the UNIA against all odds and all efforts to stop them grew and grew. These accomplishments include over 4 million members worldwide, even more supporters, over 1,000 branches of the organization throughout 42 countries, the Negro World newspaper, a shipping company, the Black Star Line, the Negro Factories Association, wholesale, retail, and manufacturing businesses, grocery stores, restaurants, laundrettes, a printing press, tailor shop, Black Doll Manufacturing, a trucking company, hotels, farms, a nursing agency, and a paramilitary division, established our flag, the red, black, and green, and established the Declaration of Rights of the Negro peoples of the world. The accomplishments made by Marcus Garvey in the UNIA laid a foundation of strength and self-determination that inspired widespread liberation movements, leading to 55 African nations winning their independence. His example is still used as the blueprint for progressive action around the world. Marcus Garvey, elected to serve as the Provisional President of Africa by delegates representing 25 countries, was and is a global symbol of black pride, unity, and self-determination. A symbol that directly or indirectly influenced the trajectory of our greatest heroes and sheroes. From activists such as Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Steve Biko, Ida B. Wells, and Kwame Ture, to nation builders such as Haile Selassie I, Kwame Nkrumah, Nelson Mandela, Sekou Toure, Elijah Muhammad, Leonard P. Howell, and Jomo Kenyatta. From communities like Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to the Harlem Renaissance, from scholars and business leaders to athletes and entertainers, from the early 1900s to this very day. The list of those inspired by the greatness of the Garvey movement and its legacy of black pride, progress, and knowledge of self is endless. After being wrongfully convicted of mail fraud in 1923 and given a 5-year prison sentence, in 1927, his sentence was commuted and he was deported back to Jamaica, where he and his second wife, Amy Jacques Garvey, were met by the largest and most enthusiastic crowd in Jamaica's history. Marcus Garvey transferred UNIA headquarters back to Jamaica, ran a daily newspaper called The Black Man, started the first political party, the People's Political Party, and successfully got 3 members of that party elected to the Kingston City Council. This visionary leader, considered one of the 3 pillars of Pan-Africanism and a prophet of the Rastafarian faith, died of a stroke on June 10th, 1940 in London, England, at just 53 years of age. He was survived by his loving wife, Amy Jacques Garvey, a brilliant revolutionary in her own right, and his 2 sons, Marcus Garvey Jr. and Julius Garvey, both endowed with their father's progressive vision and revolutionary spirit. From statues, parades, street and school namings, to books, lectures, and the pouring of libations, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Jamaica's first national hero, continues to be honored throughout the world. Though physically no longer with us, the spirit of Marcus Garvey is still felt, his contributions still remembered, and his name still recounted during acts of Black pride, acts of Black unity, and acts of Black liberation to this very day.
Oh my goodness.
That was amazing.
Right?
Yes, that was amazing because, I love just to talk about generational wealth, how we talk about like community, what that looks like, and then just being able to thrive, independently, if that makes sense. So it that just kind of hit home. That was nice.
Yes. No, while I was working on the project, I wasn't clear on Marcus Garvey's accomplishments financially. Like how many businesses did you count? What did you hear them say that he did? Like it's like 7, 8 different businesses. And
Yes.
the conversation is that he employed over 1,000 people in Harlem. He was only in America 10 years, people. 10. He is from Jamaica. He came from Jamaica, came to America, and in 10 years was able to put all of those pieces together. And there's actually a correction that I realize is in the book. He didn't have 4 million followers worldwide. He had 6 million followers 102 years ago. I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. Before the internet, before social media, before like 1923, I mean, did we have phones? Everybody have phones, making phone calls? I think we were still writing letters in 1923.
We were writing letters.
We're still
on the letter,
right? So I just want to sit with that when we talk about progression within our community. If he could do those things 102 years ago without the advent of modern technology that we have today to move the economic conversation. I mean, they were still using printing presses, right? There's no phones. We're using printing presses. Interesting fact, something that most people don't know that I was able to be like ear hustling on, and actually Dr. Julius Garvey grew up to be a neurovascular surgeon and a educator at Cornell University. Like this is his father's did the thing for his children to be set and be able to go off into the world and make great things happen, right? One of the fun facts, unknown facts about the connection between Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X. Do you know that there's a connection between the two of them?
No.
So there is a connection. So Malcolm X, his parents were Garveyites, and his mother spoke many languages. She used to translate the newspaper in different languages for them to be sent to Africa. And so, and the other like kind of taboo thing about that was that they believed that that's why Malcolm X's father was killed in the manner he was killed, because he was an avid Garveyite and he was spreading the Pan-African or the Pan-Africanism, but African nationalistic conversation. And so I want to talk a little bit more about that as well. So I'm going to hop back into my PowerPoint here. Here we go. So we've came through, we've done this, this. Yep. Okay. So we're going to talk about the 3 lessons. Everybody say 3 lessons. 3 lessons that we learned from the Garveys from over 102 years later. You ready? What we learned about that, about the Garveys, about the lessons from the Garveys. Solidarity. So we have a lot of conversations around Black unity, right? And Black unity actually means that we're together, right? We're all together in one, as one. But Black solidarity actually talks about just us respecting the fact that we are one nation, and we have solidarity at the fact that we are one nation. And I like to say that it's Black love that brings Black solidarity and African nationalism together. I know. Y'all look at me and say, it's because she's a girl. I know. I just a girl. But I am also the creator of the earth. I am also the one that brings forth life. So if I don't sit and say that women and love of women, Black women specifically, helps us move the nation forward, I would be remiss in even thinking that. Would you agree? Right? So I believe that Black love brings Black solidarity and moves us forward in African nationalism. And African nationalism simply says that we are one nation, right? One nation, one God, one destiny is Marcus Garvey's theme saying, right? That we are not, it doesn't matter your social economic status. It doesn't matter what religion you are, right? It doesn't even matter what political affiliations you have. That Black people are one nation of people. Nishan, I know we've talked a little bit about how that works. What are your thoughts on Black solidarity and one nation?
You know, for me, it's just coming together for the one accord, and what that looks like on just making, building and healing our personal community. We talked about that, and you know, sometimes I get a little, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that out here right now, but sometimes I get a little concerned because we're so in our silos and, you know, our groups that, you know, sometimes we lose, you know, what that looks like with solidarity and Black love. And I think, you know, why you said that, you know, and you think about the uprisings and, you know, what happened with George Floyd and, you know, what was plaguing our community, you know, just Robert Fuller with suicide. You know, it's time for us to just like come together and heal, you know, and it doesn't matter about, you know, what group you're in, we are the group. I like that.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all Marcus Garvey talked about. So the uh one of the pieces that I want to focus on is it when he talks about the UNIA, and it says his focus was cultural nationalism, i.e., a collective identity and union of African people worldwide. It meant rebuilding African civilization based on an African paradigm and leaving behind the European paradigm of materialism, ultimately forming the United States of Africa. So that's where Marcus Messiah Garvey was. And so some of us know today we have the African Union. Are you familiar with the African Union, Nishan? Right? And when I found out about the African Union, and I found out that African Americans or diasporic Africans are actually part of the sixth region of the African Union. Like we have representation as diasporic Africans in the African Union. It blew my mind. I was like, not only are they unifying, they're unifying and including what did we say? They count 400 million Africans in the diaspora. That means at least 400 million were taken from their homes and forcibly migrated to other countries around the world in the West. So when we talk about citizenship and nationalism and all the things that African Americans are going through today and that other cultures don't truly understand, the difference is we were forcibly migrated. Forget slavery. Forget what happened once we got here. But we were taken from our homes and brought here. There's all kinds of levels to that when we talk about economics and status and the way we navigate the world. On top of that, we had actual laws put into place to keep us at a subset of the community. So it's not the same for us as it is for other people. And obviously, Marcus Garvey understood that coming from Jamaica. He also understood, and I don't know if you guys realized, it was only 50 years after the Emancipation Proclamation that he was out here doing what he did. So after 50 years later, there were 6 million followers, 1,000 employed in Harlem, and multiple businesses done. 50 years after slavery was over. So I want us to sit with those numbers because we're at 102 years after he was here and 237 years after slavery ended, I think is where we're at. We're going to somebody do the math on that. But we got some base when it comes to how to get things done. And I just want to tell y'all, here's the base, child. Sorry. I'm power geeking right now. Oh my gosh. The youngest president in the world. His name is Ibrahim Traore. I always want to put the T in there. He is the leader of Burkina Faso. He is moving the needle for his people. Here are some of his accomplishments over the last, he's only been in office 2 years, 2023. He's expelled the French military from his country, demanding their troops depart. They can run their own country. So that's one of the first things he did. He's advancing the Pan-African integration conversation with other prominent forms of federation. He's actually called for diasporic Africans to come home. They're offering citizenship in Burkina Faso as well. He's also aligning himself with Mali and Guinea to explore the creation of a unified political system. I know you like the African Union, but in his region, right? Let's get this together. Let's do it together, right? And he's improving healthcare for his people. And one of the other things that he's done agriculturally, he released solar powered tractors to all of the farmers in his country. He's gave them to them because the gross domestic product of any country is their life's blood. So why wouldn't you support your farmers? We did it here in America. It just, the ones that look like us didn't get any support, but you do that, right? He also developed a cannery for all of the agricultural fruits and vegetables that are coming in. So now they can can them and distribute them and send them out. Black solidarity, Black leadership in 2025. If you haven't heard or you don't know about Burkina Faso, ladies and gentlemen, you need to know about Burkina Faso and President Ibrahim. Economics. So here's a quote from Marcus Garvey. A race that is solely dependent upon another for economic existence sooner or later dies. As we have in the past been living upon the mercies shown by others and by the chances, the chance of attainability, of attainable, and have suffered therefrom. This is that language part, right? In the day. So we will in the future suffer if an effort is not made now, 102 years ago, to adjust our own affairs. Marcus Garvey. Nashawn, 102 years ago, he said we were going to be, are we suffering 102 years later? We're suffering 102 years later.
Yes, ma'am.
Right to this day. This is prophecy. Like, how many more efforts need to happen before we really understand it doesn't change for us until we change it? It really doesn't change for the world until we change it. Just to be clear, when Black people move, the rest of the world follows. That's in fashion. That's in thought leadership. That's in advocacy. Like, literally, the world moves when Africa or Africans diasporically move. So if we're going to change our economic state, we need to change our economic state. We need to have this conversation. I'm going to take it back. Michelle, we're not having no more conversations. No more. We're not doing it. We need to have the actions that are laid out 102 years ago. We watched our communities burn collectively. How are we then not watching them build collectively? What's our spending power? 2 trillion, 7 trillion, 6 trillion, one of those trillions? It's a trillion something. Oh, you know what?
Trillions.
I can tell you what it is. You want to know why? Because I got a slide on it. Hold on. So everybody say the Black Wall Street Tracker.
The Black Wall Street Tracker.
The Black Wall Street Tracker is a website. I'm going to actually pull up our partners here. The Friends of the Movement Global. If you're looking for the website, I want you guys to go ahead and take a screenshot, take a picture, not a picture, scan the QR code. Friends of the Movement, Brother Charles Walker, have put together a Black Wall Street ticker. So now you all know the ticker from Wall Street, right? And how it goes around and, you see all the numbers and nobody knows what the numbers are because we have no idea what that is. But the ticker that Brother Walker and has put on his site tracks Black spending. So when you go to the website, you'll see the ticker scroll, right? And if you look, it'll show you boycott and boycott. It tells you who to boycott, and it also tells you how to boycott. I know you've never heard the term boycott before, but that's Black cash mobbing, right? We roll up and we buy from our own people. There are 70,000 companies on this website that we can buy from. I actually looked up grocery stores. There is a grocery store in LA. There's two. I want to make sure that other businesses get put on the app. It is free to get put on the app. If you have a Black owned business that you would like to get put on the Black Wall Street tracker and have businesses from all over the world vend with you and come buy from you as a consumer, you can log on. The other cool part is you personally can track your Black spending. So you can download the app and say, all right, I am spending $100 at Napoli Naturals. Shout out to Napoli Naturals, my people's, my neighborhood pharmacy is Napoli Naturals. It is an apothecary in Leimert Park. I go there for everything. If I sneeze, cough, blink too much, feel bad, I go to Napoli Naturals, and that's where I get all of my healthcare needs met. Most people don't know that apothecaries were the prelude to pharmacies. If you ever see those old movies when there's a bunch of like herbs and stuff on the wall, and you go in and the herbalist, what you would say what was wrong, and they pull it off the shelf. In Leimert Park on Degnan Street, Napoli Naturals will mix you a concoction to do that. So getting companies like that on the ticker. And so let's say I want to spend $100 at Napoli Naturals. I put it in my tracker, spending $100 at Napoli Naturals. I take a picture of my receipt and it reports to the tracker. So it'll tell us how much we're spending in Black dollars in real time. So I know it doesn't look as impressive on my slide. So I would like everybody to take some time and go on the website, play with it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please hit me up. I'll be more than happy to help you or connect you with the developer. So that's how we move the needle with our economics, right? The conversation really becomes, what are you going to do? Right? Today's the blackout. Did anybody go out and spend money at a Black store? I know it's kind of like, it's counterintuitive to say blackout, don't spend, and then tell you to go spend. We probably should have called it a boycott. Maybe next year we'll call it boycott. Nashawn, we're going to go boycott all these businesses. And we could do a scavenger hunt. Oh, we can do a scavenger hunt. How many boycott businesses can you get into? And we'll start showing Black receipts. We're going to make Black receipts. Listen, you know how my brain works. Don't get me started. I'll start a whole movement right now in this moment. But no, that's something that we really need to have, right? That's something we really need to have. We really need to be able to do. And so vote with your wallet is their slogan, and conscious spending is really the initiative. Mentality. I can't read the quote. Hold on a second. So we're going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because whilst others might free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind. Marcus Garvey, speaking at the Melekili Hall in Sydney, Nova Scotia in 1937. So when we talk about mentality, I'm going to go to the next slide. Money on your mind, right? And we grow innovations all day long. Like Black thought, Black mentality, we move the needle when it comes to creativity. We even move the needle with innovation, but we don't manifest the financial connectivity to it. We don't have the economics to support the things that we've created. Now, in the past, we know, they took it, they plagiarized, they did all that. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about in 2025, with the advent of technology, with the advent of a recorder and trademarking and intellectual property and copywriting and all the things we know how to do in 2025, how can we move the needle and make it manifest financially for ourselves and as a community? Like Marcus Garvey did 102 years ago. It really wasn't a conversation about who's going to take my stuff, who's going to have this. It was really a conscious, concerted effort to just do it, right? And the people were behind him, and the connectivity was there. I know we have some strained relationships in our community when it comes to trust, when it comes to togetherness. But I think that comes from talking about old stuff. You know, like I think we just keep rehashing the conversations about what had happened was, right? Remember that time back in 1923 when Marcus Garvey got arrested for empty envelope? Like we still, do you remember Black Wall Street? Remember what they did? I think that keeps us in a state of fear. And if you've heard me speak over the last few months, I've launched my research on chromatophobia, the fear of money. I personally think it's a spectrum condition when it comes to African Americans because we suffer from it disproportionately because our value was not assessed by our efforts. It was assessed by us standing on the auction block. When we stood on the auction block, that's when Laneay was worth a couple of thousand and Deshaun was worth a couple of more thousand, right? It wasn't us assessing our worth and our value. And I think we still kind of sit with that mentality, right? Some of us don't even go out for jobs that pay us what we're worth. Some of us don't even say, this is my rate, right? Y'all know, if you hear me talk, I'll tell you right now what my rate is. Deshaun, you know what my rate is? We've had this conversation. Writing invoices right now. Right? Because we don't feel comfortable. We don't feel confident in the fact that we are actually worth that. I was in a meeting earlier, and there were a bunch of executives talking about the imposter syndrome. And I had to sit with that for a minute. And I'm a former therapist, and I know that there's diagnoses and conditions that come out all the time. And I just decided imposter syndrome isn't real. And if you hear some research on it, it really isn't real because imposter syndrome says you don't think that you meet up to the standards that you are portraying and outwardly putting into the community, right? So you think that you're not you. And so I proposed to the group, I said, I understand that. I understand people feel that way, but I would like to do, what I do is I would like to challenge everyone to write from the day you became 18 till now. Write out every single career, skill, education. Write down every single thing you've ever done between the time you were 18 and the time that you are now. Some of us ain't going to be honest because they still going to say 18 was a couple of months ago. But I want you to write it out. Everything you've done professionally, educationally, from 18 till now, and tell me you got FOMO. Tell me you've got, imposter syndrome. How is that possible? My CV is 12 pages long on purpose. I just had a new job and they were like, yeah, we were like, yeah, looking for the abbreviated version of your CV. And I said right to the CEO, I just wanted you to get the essence of who I am and what I do. Okay, that's what we're doing. I'm just saying. You trying to hire me? Let me just tell you. Let me just tell you what you're working with, right? And so I proposed that to the group, and the faces, the blank stares. And so we were in like an executive training, and the trainer was like, "Wow, Laneay's over here preaching." Because then I was in the chat because people were saying stuff in the chat, and I was like, "I like to say, have you seen me? have you seen me?" Right? And it really comes from your mindset. So if we don't get into the habit of changing our mindset about our not just our worth, because some people understand that they're worth something. I'm actually talking about your value, your financial value, like monetarily, like your rate is, and what you bring to any environment you're in. What is your value? And it doesn't necessarily come from letters and numbers behind your name. It comes from the work that you put in on yourself and the work you put in your community. Nashawn created a whole company based on her community's needs. Most nonprofits do that based on what we need. So it's really just changing your mind about what it is that you want to do, what you're made to do, and what you're here to do. And so I want to share with you all a short survey that I created. So everybody take a screenshot, take a picture of the money and wellness survey, because I really would like to hear your voice on what is happening with you when it comes to money and how that is affecting you. Because what I also understand is that if we don't move forward out of this trapped, I call it the hidden trauma of African Americans. Like we really don't know that we're experiencing chromatophobia, the fear of money. And we, in a spectrum condition, we're either spending it like we got fire in our wallets and on our debit cards. It's on fire. We burning a hole in your pocket, as the old we used to say, right? To you got to put it under your mattress and never touch it. You got to bury it. Someone ever said their grandparents used to put it in freezers. You just hold on to it. And we never get to the point where we're investing it. We're not investing it in our future. We're not investing it in a business. We're not investing it in ourselves. We are an asset. I'm an asset. I am a full asset. Nashawn is a full asset. The replay people who are watching this, you are a full asset to the world, because without your energetic beingness here, we don't exist. There's an African construct, Ubuntu. I am, we are because I am because we are. Without you, there is no me. Right? We have to get to a place where we're understanding what's going on inside of ourselves, so it's not projecting outwardly. And so when you meet another person of color that looks like you, that has the same experiences with you, we can come together in solidarity. Yes? Not in conflict, not in disunity, not in all of the fights that we do with ourselves. I don't know if you all, Instagram kicked me off. I'll talk about that a little later. But last time I was on Instagram, I did a live because I was so disheartened by the fighting of young Black folks at SoFi Stadium during the Black College Expo, or during the Battle of the Bands. They were outside fighting. And it just occurred to me, we are not only the hunted, we are also the hunters of our communities. Do y'all remember Self-Destruction? Remember that song? Self-Destruction. You're heading for self-destruction. East Coast, right? Do you remember we're all in the same gang? West Coast? Remember? Michelle? Because we're all in the same gang. Yes? Remember? That's how I know you remember. We have got to get to a place where we understand in a very hip hop type of way, they were talking about African nationalism. We are all the same. And without each other, none of us exist. Without seeing each other, sawubona is an isiZulu term, means I see you. It's the equivalent of what's up? When you're in a room full of nobody else's and it's just you and another person that look like you. Sup? I see you. We see you. The ancestors see you. Sawubona. Right? We have to get to a place where we can see each other. We have to get to a place where we can self-assess what's going on with ourselves, because we're never moving forward if we don't. And I refuse to believe that we're not moving forward, because we are the creators of the earth. We were here the first. Yeah? Just saying. Got me preaching over here. So let's go back up to the start point. So I want you guys to take a moment, take the survey, and let me know what's going on with you. So that's our Black History Tales. That is how I've expanded on the conversation of Marcus and Amy Jacques Garvey about the financial legacy, creating books, creating blogs, and Instagram posts. All of those things are a part of us being in the same gang. And if you're watching us on Splasher, here's the website. Splasher is a Black-owned social media platform. And it was launched with the idea that we can entertain ourselves on social media in different ways. If you go to the platform, everything from music to movies to video drops to waves to communities, and we're streaming live now, and that will be an added feature where you can do more than just an hour, like on the other platform, and you're not going to get kicked off for expressing your thoughts and feelings about your community, which is what ended up happening. And I just want to say the notice came through where they said, we are taking you, we're suspending your page. And I was upset because I have a lot of content and I have a lot of connections. I had over 700 people that knew me. There's 700 friends and people that knew me from community, right? And I was upset at first with a couple of DM conversations that I was like, oh, I can't have these conversations, good conversations, but I'm going to miss out on those conversations. And then I realized, and I've heard this before, social media makes their money off of me and you, because without content, what is Instagram? And you're giving it freely, and they're making money because they're getting advertisers that pay them. Who pays for ads, right? You do. So you're giving them money and they're making money off of you. And this is not a preach about them. This is about being conscious about what you're doing. So when people ask me, do you have an IG? I say no. They kicked me off and I never went back. Because I want to be in control of my own content. I want to be in control. I want to be able to have these conversations with you all freely, right? We are using YouTube, but YouTube is a platform where people can speak freely with their own content, and you don't get blocked or suspended unless I do something that's going to hurt someone. And I would never do something that's going to hurt someone. I would never advocate for anybody to be hurt based on my thoughts and opinions. That's not who I am. So how am I banned? How am I suspended? And so I've said this before. Social media is a business. It is a business model. It is something that someone created to make money off of. And we give our content freely for them to do that. And that's what it is. That's conscious use of a platform. Splasher is my conscious use of a platform. When I feel like I want to hit somebody up or talk and do a chat I go to Splasher. If not, I'm talking to you one-on-one, like old school, right? I give you a call. I shoot you a text. I send you an email. And we still have to have those conversations about communities and businesses that don't support us. Why should we support them? That's what Marcus and Amy Jacques Garvey were trying to tell us over 102 years ago. We have to have conversations like this. We have to sit with ourselves and say, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? Who does this benefit? How can it benefit me and my community? That's why we have organizations like Soul of the Community. That's why we have platforms like Splasher. That's why we have platforms like Friends of the Movement Global. That's why these platforms exist, you guys. So we can stop depending on others to be our catalyst to conversations. I can't even talk to my friends because I don't have that kind of account. It's ridiculous. It's a business model. It's a business plan that people are using to make your lives their pocketbook priority. Their bank accounts bigger. Your life is making their bank accounts bigger. It's sending their children to college. It's opening businesses for their communities. And until we have a conversation about how we can do that for our communities, we're always going to be struggling. We're always going to be at the mercy of other people. We're always going to be blacking out something. So next year, we're not going to black out. No more blackouts. We are doing boycotts where we're buying. Boycott 365 days a year. Why not? And if there's something that we don't have, go get it. Go make it. Get with a group of people. Put it together. We should not be having conversations about, I gotta shop on there because we don't have that in our community. Or do we? How many of y'all knew about the ticker before today? How many people know that you can track your Black spending with Black companies? There's a full directory. How many people know that you can put your business on this platform? How many people know you can download the app and track your own Black spending? Like my Black spending is, and floss your number. What's your Black spending number? What's your Black receipts look like? Right? When will we get to a space that we say no more being beholden to other communities and the things that they hold over us, like social media? When will we say, you know what? I'm going to Splash. Start my own social media platform. Shout out to Brother Nana for the work that he has done, and is continuing to do. I just got off the phone with him earlier. He's building this platform. So things you want to see, things you think are important to the platform, hit him up. Let him know he's Mr. Splasher on the Splasher account. Be like, you know what? I would like to see this, this, and this. You know what I told him? I was like, look, I need to be able to stream like we do on all these other platforms. I need to stream live. He was like, only Laneay. I'm the only one you're going to see doing this right now. Y'all going to get it one day. But the fact of the matter is, we have control over a system that we can buy into, we can invest in. It's a company. Just saying. It is a company. As far as I know, there's stocks involved, right? Why wouldn't we buy into our own social media platform? And I know there's others, and there's other people working on stuff, but I just want to spend my money with my people, like, and my communities, and build my community. So then the other community, we need to go to Florida and Atlanta and Mississippi. We can just go to Black Code, right? Go to these other communities. It's a full Black community, fully functional. You ain't got to worry about gas, a hotel, or food when you travel to this city. Did you guys know that Marcus Garvey and the UNIA had hotels? Who knew that? But we should have known because it's 101 years ago. We have to have these conversations. We have to read our books. We have to get to a place where we're not scared of our past and our lineage and our spirituality even. Don't even get me started on that. We're not scared to spend money with each other. And so we are 105 after the hour. I want to turn it back over to Nishan for some final thoughts and words about her energy and her efforts and what she's doing. And let's do the thing. No more conversations. No more conversations. Nishan.
Just action, huh? This was very rewarding, and I knew it would be. I was actually over here taking notes, and I was just thinking about what you said, and I'm gonna be very truthful with my thoughts. I was, from the San Gabriel Valley area, and I didn't see a lot of individuals that looked like me that had businesses. So then when I first moved out here to the Antelope Valley and just seeing like the prosperity of what that looks like, it was very, it wasn't like I had to go to LA anymore,
Yeah.
It was like I was in my own community and I can actually shop at like, businesses that were Black owned. But in the spirit of that, it's all about self-sufficiency. And I work in social services, and I have another job, and working in social services, just I explain that to them, self-sufficiency, what that looks like, how we, how it takes money to make money, so we still have to work, but we also need to understand that we need to pour in our own community. So I really appreciate that you said that. I was thinking about Dr. A, her from Ohana Center. She told me one day, we were talking, she was like, don't forget, you're an intellectual property. So when you said that, I was just like, oh yeah, like, sometimes we actually forget, our value. And we get scared or timid and not want to be able to, cloud on ourselves or just, just market ourselves a little bit better. And, I really love that. And then solidarity, I think that's so important right now. And again, I'm going back to, the uprising and, just a whole bunch of things. It's like, we have to come out of our own little silos, and we have to understand that, we're community. And that's why we're called Soleil of the community.
Yeah.
And I do want to leave you all with, we are going to be taking single parents and their children to Allensworth, Colonel Allensworth, to take a tour. And we're going to go camping. And so please follow us. Please, stay connected. If this is something that you would like to do with your family, again, we're an advocacy group. We do a lot of outreach, but we also do education. And it's very important. We can't understand our future if we don't understand our past. And unfortunately, we're not getting it in certain spaces, but we have to be able to make those spaces for ourselves. But again, action. I love that you said that. Action, action, action. So I want to be a steward of that and make sure that I continue to try to be action and a voice and just heal community. We also will be doing a mental health awareness month. We are participating in that for Take Action LA. We'll be at Corson Park in Palmdale. We'll also be over here at Jackie Robinson Park. And, we're just going to bring coping skills and just, a space for people to feel comfortable and commune and understand that, things happen, as far as with our mental health, but we have coping skills. We can, be there to help each other, and then we can commune. And that's what it's all about. So I really appreciate this. And I do want to leave you with this. I wrote this down as well, but I just found out we have Bloom's Ranch in Acton.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So Blues Ranch in Acton, I can't wait. You can go pick. It's Black owned. It's it's a ranch, and it's right here. Not too far from us. And it's a space where we can be able to pick fruit and they have soap and they have education and it's just it's a good vibe. It seems like. So I'm looking forward to, trying to get over there as well to see what Bloom's Ranch is like actually really about. And I think that's what it's all about. Education, stimulation, and then action, like you just said. So I appreciate you. And thank you guys for all tuning in with us. This was amazing. I'm very thankful. Black History Tells, story from our past, so we can, move forward and have this action. So thank you.
Ashe. I want to leave you with one more thing. So goals and principle planner. So I created a goals and principle planner for Kwanzaa. It's a Kwanzaa edition. Actually, there's 2 editions on my website. But the reason why I bring that up is because we need tools. We need tangible tools to be able to do this navigation work that we're doing. So the goals and principle planner breaks out all of the principles of Kwanzaa, and it assigns it. You can assign it to any day. It's a perpetual planner, so there's no dates on it. So you can use it all year long. You can keep using it over and over again. It talks about Kwanzaa. It talks about the principles. It talks about how it was created. Some of the we are actually. I was in the Kwanzaa parade this year. I learned a lot about the origins of Kwanzaa. And not just the holiday, the popularized version of Kwanzaa, right? So I wanted to put this up so you all can go to my website, download the planner, and it teaches you about the symbols and all of the pieces of Kwanzaa. We talk about the Kinara in there, how to celebrate Kwanzaa, and just the things, right? And I think that's something that we really need to pay attention to when we say things, when we're going to have an action. We need to have a tool. So let's make that a practice. Actions and tools. Actions.
Yes. And us, Soleil the community, have actually been participating with Kwanzaa for this was our 3rd year. And that's something that we focus on as well, is just the understanding of what the practices and principles are, and then how we can kind of live that life throughout our year, throughout our years, and what that looks like, and taking those little pieces and actually being able to implement them and follow them, because you're right, we do need tools. And to me, this is a great tool to have for throughout your years.
Absolutely.
Throughout your year,
So everyone, it's on my site, LaneayLondon.com. Nishan is at Soleil of the community.
Yes.
If you need anything, we're here for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we're gonna head out. We're gonna head back out with some salad. Just kind of decompress. Doesn't make you want to just like chill out.
Yes. Peace. Oh, and I failed to mention, you'll be speaking at our mental health awareness.
I will be there. Yes. I will be there in May, hanging with y'all at the park.
Yes. We'll be at the park.
Yes. Look for the flyers for that, everybody. That'll be in May. Mental health awareness.
Yes.
Have a good night, everybody.
Be well.
Peace.